Yes. Mike, what's going on? Good morning, sir. Good morning, Big Mike. Yes, sir. Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you guys this morning. Happy Friday to you guys. Happy Friday to you. Happy Friday to you. I'm gonna have a condensed message this morning. Got lot going on this morning, but I am excited to go into this weekend. I hope you guys are having a good week, and it's Friday. If you weren't having the best week, guess what? It's Friday. Okay, right? It's Friday. Good morning, AT. So we'll wait a couple of seconds before people want to come on. It's Friday, and we want to talk about. I know I kind of missed you guys yesterday. My day got thrown off a little bit. Good morning, Devette. Yesterday, and I'm going to touch a little bit on what I wanted to touch on yesterday, which actually is going to enhance this because it actually helped me a lot. So happy Friday to you all. We'll go ahead and get started. As you guys know, yesterday I missed you guys. I was in a stuck for an hour. A 5 minute trip became an hour trip, but it was a good moment of reflection, good moment of correction, and sometimes we can get corrected. Uh, Corrected unconsciously, right? And so weren't looking for it. Most times we're not looking for. I guess most times we get corrected. We're not looking for correction, and so but it came, and I was getting frustrated about sitting in traffic, sitting on the highway, and my destination was 5 minutes away. It took me an hour to get there, but it I became self-absorbed, right? And so many times we get self-absorbed, and I didn't realize I was self-absorbed until I heard the sirens coming. So I was I'm thinking like, oh man, I'm just trying to drop my boy off to school, and I could have took the side roads and got there. So I'm like, man, my long cut would have been the shortcut today because of this situation. And I'm just frustrated, like, oh man, I'm not gonna be able to do this, not gonna be able to have time to do that. And and then the sirens came. And as soon as I heard the siren, I saw the ambulance in my rearview mirror, and I was like, oh my goodness. Here I am worried about how inconvenienced my morning has been. And I didn't even think that somebody's life could be over. Somebody's life is definitely changed forever. And here I am worried about, running late. And so I said, man, I was totally self-absorbed. I fell victim to self-absorption. And so sometimes that happens. Good morning, everybody coming on, cuz. What's going on, San Benita? And so that can happen very easily, can it? We can get self-absorbed so easily. And so it was just a really good moment of correction. And I had to, kind of come back and say, man, boy, you looking at myself, talking to myself, wow, you thought you were that important where you couldn't see the importance of what's going on. Somebody's life has changed forever. And so I shot a prayer up, and didn't know what was really going on. And so but today I want to talk about endurance, right? Endurance and enduring, and how bad do we want it. And so I was reading because we've talked about this week, we've been talking about um, talking about the mind and the psychology of the things that we encounter. Um, Having a brain fart, I forgot what I was teaching earlier this week. But so anyway, endure, right? Endure. Um, what was the question? Y'all help me out. What was I teaching? I forgot what I was teaching this week. What was it? It was about yes, what is good and what is bad. Well, anyway, I forgot. So, but today I want to talk about enduring. It was a spin off this whole week. So I'm having a brain fart right now. But the spin-off of enduring, right? We want to endure. We the process, right? Yeah, shortcuts. Talking about shortcuts. There it is right there. Shortcuts. We were talking about shortcuts this week. And are shortcuts good or bad? And so as the week progressed and getting you guys' feedback, we learned that shortcuts can become a cut out of process. So we're cutting out process. And so a lot of times, if we go after the shortcut in life, we're cutting out, right? Every shortcut cuts something out. It cuts something from the body. And whenever we cut out process, we're cutting out the very thing that we absolutely need to be successful in whatever it is. Some things require process. Success requires a process. And so now I want to talk about, endurance. And good morning, bro. Good morning, Damo. What's going on, y'all? So enduring, right? Endure. Good morning, Liz. Endure. This word endure means to hold out, to sustain, to undergo. To undergo. We're talking about endure. And how bad do you really want it, right? Because I can take a shortcut. I can take a shortcut, and that shortcut can get me some to a place quicker, right? But sometimes in life, shortcuts are going to be a temporary success. It's going to create a temporary success. And I don't know about you, but temporary success in my book is not success. I want long-term success. I want success to be lasting, right? We don't want success to be short-lived. We want it to be lasting. And lasting success requires a process. So now I must ask the question. Thank you, cuz. I must ask the question, how much and how bad do I want it? Okay? How bad do I want it? Now, look at this. To suffer under, like to persevere. These are words that endure mean. To persevere, to bear trials, to bear under a thing. So endurance means I have to stay under whatever this weight is. I have to stay under for a certain purpose, for some certain purpose, So I read this. I looked at this article about endurance athletes. Now listen to this. Endurance athletes is like long distance runners, athletes that do things that are long. Like they're gonna take a great degree of preparation. So look at this. Endurance athletes, by definition, they endure. They endure long hours of training, the privations of monastic lifestyle. So they have to change their lifestyle because their performance is going to require hours and hours of them performing, running. Think about a marathon, a 26-mile run, which is just crazy to even think of, right? And so it says, it says, in all the pains and aches. But what endurance athletes must endure above all is not actual effort, but their perception of effort. And I thought this was mind blowing to me. They don't have to. They don't. Their biggest endure, the thing that they have to endure most is not just effort, but their perception of effort. And I said that's beautiful, because how do you perceive effort? I can look at somebody. A good coach can look at you and see if you're giving your all. They can show. You can be working and working, and a good coach can know, man, you're not giving everything you have. But what about your own mind? You can't trick your own conscience, right? You can trick me, and I can be like, come on, let's go. Push, 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 push. And you can be like, I can't go no longer. I just my legs are breaking down. My muscles are shutting down. But guess what? You can't trick your conscience. Your conscience knows you got more in you. There's more in you. So how bad do you want it? It says they must endure their perception of effort. And I thought that was beautiful. I thought that was really insightful. How do I perceive my own effort? How do I perceive my own effort? Even if I'm in the front, even if I'm in a race and I'm in the front, am I giving everything I have? Am I giving everything I have? Nobody knows that except for me, especially if I look like I'm winning. Especially if I'm winning, am I giving everything I have? It says perception effort. This is the phrase that scientists now use to refer to what athletes normally describe as how hard exercise feels in a given moment. Okay. And so going down, are you leaving it all on the field? There you go, Damo, football player. It's what, athletes, you heard that. You heard your coach say that. Leave it all on the field. You heard the captain say, leave it all on the field. That means give it everything you have. Give it everything you have. But who knows if you're giving it everything you have? Who knows? Even if you win, did you give it everything you have? Did you give it your all? So how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? And this says all endurance athletes face psychological challenges And all such challenges are either directly or indirectly related to perception of effort. So it's the perception of effort. That's the challenge. These are the psychological challenge, because in life, especially in sports, it's physical, yes, because you're doing a physical move, physical exercise. But based on effort, all the effort is really mental. The effort is not physical, it's all mental. It all comes from your mental state of being. If I'm going to give everything I have, it's going to happen first here. I have to make my mind up here before I can perform it in the physical, right? So this is our mental thing. But in life, how bad do we want it? How bad do you want that promotion? Or I want the promotion. How bad do you want it? Are you giving all your effort in the place you're in, your space, your current space? Are you maximizing? Have you perfected where you are now? See, if you perfected where you are now you know psychologically, yes, I want that. I want that promotion. Why? Because I'm showing myself now that I'm going to give everything I have. I'm going to learn everything I need to learn for my now so that I can get to my later in victory. So I want to focus on giving everything I have, but all this happens mentally. It all happens mentally. And look at this. It says, if racing wasn't hard, this article says, if the race wasn't hard as hell, athletes would not experience moments of self-doubt, pre-race apprehension, post-race regret, or mental burnout or intimidation. So it says most errors that come to these athletes are overtraining, and they originate from the fear of suffering. And so I said, wow, you think about this. So it says, if what you're doing isn't hard, then you're really not being tested psychologically, right? If the race wasn't hard, you won't have to endure those moments of self-doubt. If it was just easy, you never struggle with self-doubt. You never tempted to doubt yourself. But it's when that thing gets hard. It's when you're trying to accomplish something you've never accomplished, something that is beyond your experience, something that's beyond what you've experienced. That's gonna test your self-doubt. It's gonna make you doubt yourself. Have you ever doubted yourself in anything? In your en route to trying to achieve something? Have you ever doubted yourself? See, that's a psychological test. Man, I don't know. This thing is hard. I don't know if I can do this. But guess what? It is a test. And it's a powerful thing that we must have in order to establish how bad we want it. How bad do you want it? Can you handle self-doubt? Can you handle the intimidation? Can you handle the mental burnout? You don't want to get burnt out mentally. And so these are things that are crucial. And it says most training errors, such as overtraining, originate from the fear of suffering. So what they're saying is, athlete, they fear suffering, so they'll overtrain. I don't want to suffer, so I'm just gonna work, 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 work. Right? I'm gonna work, 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 work. And now you're allowing fear. You're allowing fear to dominate your behavior, to dominate your mental, and all of this. And then it says it can become overtraining. So now I'm just gonna I'm gonna keep studying, keep studying. Okay, you can take the test. I don't want to take the test. Now I'm taking next year. I'm gonna keep studying, keep working, keep working, keep working. Now, what's doing is this showing how bad I want it? Or is this saying sometimes we gotta get out there? Sometimes you gotta get out there, you work hard, get out there and try it. Get out there and test the waters. Test the waters. Okay? And not allow fear, the fear of suffering, to absolutely gridlock me and handcuff me from moving. So overcome fear. And we talked about fear last week and how to overcome fear. You got to write those fears down, distinguish them, identify them, and then intercept. Learn how I can intercept this fear. And then I must once I interpret, then I can intercept them, and then I can know I'm not going to die. If I do this, am I going to die? If I fail in this test, is it the end of me? Is it the end of me? And so that's how we can overcome fear. So it says psychologists use the term coping to refer to a person's behavior, emotional and cognitive responses to discomfort and stress. So how bad do you want it? It will be proven by your ability to handle emotional discomfort. Can you endure the stress that comes with you trying to achieve this thing? Stress is coming. Stress is going to come. Stress is going to come. It says, in a race, the job of muscles is to perform. The job of the mind is to cope. So if your job is to perform, your muscles' job is to perform, but your mind's job is to cope. It's to cope with the discomfort. It's to cope with the stress. It's to cope with all the people see. Because when you're climbing, you're gonna accumulate some things. You're gonna accumulate some naysayers. You're gonna accumulate if you go to a business, and I know people, big Fortune 500 companies, and they come in and they start climbing, and people that's been there 10 years are who they think they are. They haven't even been here. They haven't been here. But guess what? You got to be able to endure that. You got to be able to endure that backlash in favor of where you're going. You got to keep your destination in mind. And how bad do you want it? Because if I fear people talking about me, I don't want it very bad. If I say, you know what, I'm just gonna stay in this place. I'm gonna stay in this place. I'm gonna work here for 3 or 4 years, and then I just to make sure people not looking at me like I'm just so overly ambitious and things like that. No, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? You have to be able to endure those people. Those people that don't. Who does he think he is? Who does she think she is? How does she think she can just climb up to that position? Guess what? Go after it anyway. Go after it anyway, because what is the right people, right? We oftentimes we fear the how we're perceived by the wrong people. The boss is the one that's going to promote you. That's who I want to be. I want to make sure that my perceptions concerning the boss is going to be right. So the boss can be like, some coworkers can be like, who do you think you are? Who she thinks she is? Who he think he is? But your boss is like, oh, I like it. They striving, they pushing. Oh, they're gonna keep me on my toes. They're not just gonna be able to sit in one place and think that they won't be able to get promoted. I see their ambition. I'm gonna have to make sure that I take care of this person. That's because it's about you, right? You gotta stay true to yourself. And how bad do you want it? Can you endure that discomfort? Can you cope? Can you cope? How bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? And it says mind over muscle. Endurance sports are therefore a game of mind over muscle. And I love that, because guess what? The muscle is going to take its instructions from the mind. So what we do, how you perform, it's going to take all its instructions from your mind, And so how bad you want it is proven by the psychology of your mental preparation. The psychology of your mental preparation. How bad you want it is proven by the psychology of your mental preparation, which means you are prepared to endure the discomfort. You are prepared to endure the stress of change. I believe stress comes with change. Why? Why do I say that? I was when I was reading the article, I said stress comes with change, and I have to be ready and prepared mentally and psychologically to endure the stress of change. Why? Because changing can be stressful. Changing can be stressful. It's a stressful thing to change, because you're betraying the behavior of your past in favor of your destiny. In order to change, you have to betray the behavior of your past in favor of your destiny. In order to get to this, just say about the promotion you want. The promotion is a different position. So I have to betray the behavior of my past, and I have to begin to think like this position. I have to begin, if I'm looking for an executive position, I have to think like an executive. I can't think like just a worker. I have to think like an executive. I have to see things from the top and look at all these things. And I'm telling you, when you've been this all this time, now you have to betray that, and you have to look up and look to this next thing. And guess what? In process of doing that, is you're gonna have some stress, because it's like muscle memory. If I'm used to, they say practice makes perfect. Well, guess what? If you practice wrong, then it's gonna make a perfect error. So in order to change, I have to get rid of some things, and that's stressful. It's stressful when we're changing. But how bad do you want it? How bad do you want change? Can you endure the stress that comes with it? You're trying to break old habits. You're trying to break something. Invite you out to eat. And guess what? You looking at that menu, it's going to be stressful. All of a sudden. Why? Because I'm ate them wings and that pizza, but now I'm trying to betray the behavior of my past in favor of my destination and where I want to go. I got 50 pounds on my mind. It's stressful because now you got this tugging. But guess what? That stress is good stress. That's a good stress because that stress is a test. It's a test to prove how bad you want it. I want it. I got to lose this 50 pounds. I'm halfway there. So the stress comes with, you want them wings. You know you want them wings. The wings look good. They smell good. Look, those people over there eating it. And guess what? Now it becomes a stressful situation. That means it becomes resistance. Stress is resistance. It's resistance. And what the resistance, one side of the resistance is saying, oh, go on and eat them wings. It ain't going to hurt you to eat those wings this one time. And then the other side of resistance is says, you're better than this. That's the old you. The new you is here. I'm knocking. Let me in. Let me in. Don't answer the door to the old you. Answer the door to the new you. And that becomes a stressful situation. But how bad do you want it? If you want it bad enough, you'll endure that stress and you say, well, you know what? I want the wings, but I'm going to get the salad. I'm going to get the chicken salad, right? And so now, and then every time you face that stress and you overcome the past behavior, now you've just taken another level up. You went another level up. Your confidence went to a new level, right? Your confidence in yourself went to a new level. Your confidence in your mental prowess went to another level because psychologically you conquered that test. So how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? You have to endure these. It's a series of these tests, right? And remember, you think about stress tests. Think about a stress test. They have these cardiovascular stress tests where they want to test how you respond to stressful situations. They want to test your heart. But guess what? We need to do a mental stress test. To be truthfully honest, every trial you face is a mental stress test. Right. That test, that cardiovascular stress test, it's not meant to kill you. It's not meant to give you a heart attack and kill you. It's meant to tell you, you know what? You're ready. Now you can do the next level. Now you can actually exercise. You can run instead of 1 mile, you can do 2 miles. So the test is crucial. The test is required to prove that I'm ready. The test is required to prove that you're ready for the next level. You're ready for the next level. You're ready for it. You're ready for it. It's a stress test. It's a stress test. Yes, every stress that you encounter is just a test for your journey. It's just a test on your journey for your destination. So you need that. So how bad do you want it? Will you endure that stress? Will you endure that stress? Will you knock it out the park? Or will you say, you know what? I don't want to, I'll just stick with my 1 mile. I don't need to take the stress test right now. No. And now you're stuck. Now you're going to stay in that place. And then when you stay in one place, guess what? Subconsciously, you're going to go to your past behavior. Whenever you stay in one place and you're not moving towards your next, you're not moving, you're not being pulled towards your future, you're automatically going to default to your past. Whenever we're not moving forward, we're going to default to your past because, muscle memory, right? We're automatically going to just do what we do instead of breaking things and breaking that cycle. And it's going to be stressful to break a thing. It's stressful to break a thing. Even breaking animals, it's stressful to the animal to change them. It's stressful to change. You could train a dog, horse, it don't matter what it is. It's going to go through a period of stress in order to change for the better. And we're no different. It is stressful to change, but how bad do you want it? You'll endure that stress and you'll move on. And now you'll realize, man, I conquered that. That's easy now. Now it's next. What's next now? What's next now? It's a test. It's only a test. You will survive. Most likely, you will survive. You're not going to die. You're not going to die. How do I know this? Think about the strength you possess right now. All the strength, all the good that you possess right now. How did you get it? Did it just magically fall on you? Or did you go through a series of tests? You went through some tests and you conquered. You failed some, but you conquered some. And every test that you fail, guess what? I'm closer to victory. Every test you fail, you're closer to victory. I failed here, but guess what? All I have to do is two things: learn and move forward. Learn and move forward. If you failed in the test, that's still good for you. Because now I can learn. Now the stress, now the fear of failure is gone now. Yep, I actually did fail, but I learned. What do you do when you fail a test? You learn and move forward. That's the only two things to do after taking a test and failing is learning and moving forward. Don't just stay there, because then you'll default to yesterday. You'll default to past behavior. And that's what we're breaking. That's what we're breaking. Break that resistance. Let your future resist your past. I like that. Yeah. Allow your future to resist your past, because your future is always resisting your past. Where you're going is always resisting where you've been. Always. Where you going is always resisting where you've been. You got to put the car in drive, right? You got to put it in drive. And immediately when you put it in drive, resistance begins. But resistance is being broken away from your past and going to your destination. That's what that is. So will you endure? Will you endure? Choose you. Choose you to endure psychologically. Choose you to endure whatever trial you're in, whatever test that is facing you right now. Choose you to endure it. Choose you to endure it, because you know you wouldn't be where you were now had it not been for the test. Had it not been for the stress and the test that you've accomplished. Some you failed in, but guess what? You got past it eventually. Eventually, I got past it. Why? Because you wanted it. Because you wanted it. You wanted it bad enough. You wanted it bad enough. So you faced your past and said, you know what? You're not gonna govern my future. You're not gonna have influence over my future. You're not gonna impact my future any longer. I'm moving forward. I'm moving forward. So I wanted to encourage you to endure and to know how bad do you want it. And based on that how bad you want it is proven by your ability to endure. Endure. I want to share this. I want to share a scripture to end this. It says, dear friends, this is beautiful about enduring and knowing that whatever stress you're going through, guess what? It's not this unfounded, it's not so strange. It's not strange as you think it is, right? It's a scripture that says, dear friends, do not be surprised at the fiery ordeal that has come on you to test you. The test is to prove that you're ready for the next one. Think about a stair of steps. Think about steps. There's a little bit of stress that comes with each step. It's going to produce a little bit of stress, maybe on your knees, maybe on your legs. But guess what? If you don't have that step, that stress, you can't get to the next level. So it says, don't be surprised at this fiery ordeal that has come to test you as though something strange were happening. It says this thing is testing you to move you forward. There's a crown that's waiting for you to get. So just endure. Know how bad you want it. Know how bad you want it. Diagnose how bad you want it, and you will endure. Choose you. You're able. You're able. It's all about here. So choose you to endure. Hope y'all have an awesome weekend. Love you guys. God bless.